Mm. Oh, hello everyone. It is me, your big blue wicker beast buddy. Come sit down. Come sit down. Come let me tell you a story, a tale of my history with computers, but also how computers are going to be a big part of this channel. Come. All right. Let Papa Ozzy tell you a story. A story of greatness, a story of childhood happiness. So, my first experience with computers was quite vague, but I do remember it quite well. I was, I say eight my first time. Back in my younger years, I'd say like third grade or so, we, we used to just play computer games. Everyone else kind of played computer games when they were in school. I feel like I hope so. I hope I wasn't the only one who was just living it up in the dreamland of computers. I played Go Noodle, if you guys remember that. Oh, um, I also had a computer at church. It was the church's computer, but it was one that most of the younger churchgoers would watch YouTube or other things, which was the first time I was ever truly exposed to the internet as a whole. I watched Five Nights at Freddy's, which traumatized me as a kid. Crazy, right? Yeah. So it was also so flipping crazy, bro. Five Nights at Freddy's was the main thing that scared me, but also made me love horror as a whole. Okay, so simmer down with me. Let's talk. So my first computer on its own was around the time I was 10 in 2017. About 10 years after Team Fortress 2 was dropped. Uh, Crazy, right? Uh, it was a old HP. Let me just be sure here. It was an old HP ProBook 6570B. It was old. It ran like Windows 8 or 7 or something. I think they had Windows 7 installed on it because we got it from a dude who lived next to us in our old apartment building. He uh he would refurbish old business laptops and it was super cool. We had gotten it from him. My mother had actually asked it for him when I had begun taking an interest in computers because of YouTube, actually. I watched YouTubers talk about it and it kind of just piqued my interest. And I wanted to play a lot of Gary's Mod in Team Fortress 2. That was my first computer. I played, of course, Team Fortress 2, Roblox, Gary's Mod, so many other games that I could just snatch off of Steam for free. Sometimes my mom would buy us games. Sometimes she would just, she would just say like, "Okay, kids, here's $5. Get whatever you want." And honestly, $5 was more than enough to get almost any game on Steam at that time. Steam has such a vast library of components and games, and that's what made Steam so cool. Was how easy it was to buy stuff and updates, lots of updates. Uh, I'd say after a couple years, maybe about a couple months actually having that PC, I got VR chat. It was very important to now how this all happened because that computer was enough to run VR chat. Just barely. And although it wasn't exactly the most best suited game for someone my age, that was okay. It was okay. I will say, I personally believe that this game is not for kids. Do not let your kid play this game. Moderate what they play, moderate what they see. Make sure your child is safe. Internet is not a joke, people. Neither is games. Specifically this one. But let's say 2020, 2021, maybe even 2022. My mom had gotten us, or me and my brother, again, both our own laptops, but they're the same ones, from another family friend. And he works at a tech company or a housing company in their IT department, which I might be going to work at for a job shadowing, but also just for the experience. And also maybe it could be part of my future. I don't really hope so. I hope I get to work at like Nvidia or Steam. God, I would love to work at Steam. What a dream that would be. All right. So, that laptop that my mom had gotten us was a Latitude 5500 by Dell. That was probably the make or break of my career with computers. It was so flipping cool. I was in love with computers. We had computer classes at my school that you could take, and I did. I took them. Was probably one of the most best ideas I think I've ever conceived in this slightly damaged mind of mine. And so I had fell in love with computers. In fact, to the point where I had dreamed of building my own. And you're probably wondering, well, you built your own computer, didn't you? Or no, you probably just got a pre-built. No. I spent months researching everything for my computer. Probably, which is honestly crazy, around the same time, not joking, I had gotten that laptop. I had begun researching components for computers. I had watched two people specifically. Those two people are, in my mind, the literal tech kings of, computers. Linus Tech Tips, because he has this huge archive of just computers, how they work, what would be best with what, and then also just information on what to use to help build computers. The other is Salem Techsperts. I know my videos aren't gonna get as popular as them, but I do want to, I'm gonna link their channels down below, because if you happen to stumble upon my video and you don't know who they are, which you probably know who Linus is. Linus is pretty popular. I want you to go check out Salem Techsperts. He's a pretty funny dude. He makes amazing content, but he also stands for something that a lot of people need to hear. The right to repair is something that big businesses are taking away from us. So much e-waste and good components and computers are being just tossed away when they could be fixed. And these companies like Apple or some bigger ones personally like to just make it hard for us to repair it, because they want you to buy the new stuff, the bigger, stronger things. And rather than donating people's laptops, like if it breaks, get it fixed, donate it, or just donate it, and then the person who buys it can get it fixed, because there are people out there who need those things, and who need laptops in order to help with finances or get things together financial wise, or just in general. Like what my mom did, she had gotten us to use laptops because they were worth it. The price is good, they're usable, and especially for a kid like me, that was enough just for me alone. Me and my brother, of course. So, when I had finally put into plan building the computer, I had bought every part individually. I had bought the motherboard, I had bought the RAM, then I had bought the case. I think I had bought the CPU, then I had bought the cooler for the CPU, and then the PSU and the CPU. I mean the GPU. My GPU was an RX 580, which worked pretty well, even for VR. Honestly, it was kind of surprising how kind of just well it did. I wouldn't recommend it exactly because it's not the performance a person would dream of. I mean, I would use it if I ever got desperate enough. Not for these videos, of course. These videos require too much quality. But, I mean, a 3070 will do. These things go for like $200 now. At least $270 was the lowest I've seen a 3070. I got my 3080 Ti for like $350. Yeah, 350. Cheap. Very cheap. Good. It's good for your MITB. And yeah, I mean, it all kind of came together. Some things I had to fix, specifically the graphics card. I have three graphics cards. I had that RX 580, I had a 3070, and then now I have the 3080 Ti, which is currently my go-to GPU. I actually have plans for the RTX 3070 back there. You can't see it, but there's a 3070 back there. I'm going to be building a second computer for gaming. It's actually just going to be a little Steam box of my own for just in cases. I'm going to be using the old CPU from this one, which I might be changing it. So let's get on to the specs of my computer. Since we already seem to just start getting moving on to it. So the specs I have for my computer are as followed. A Ryzen 7 5700X, RTX 3080 Ti, you already knew that. A Wrath CPU cooler, Wraith, I don't know. My Mag B550 Max Wi-Fi, a Monotech XR, Silicon Power Value DDR 32 gigs, 3200 hertz. Really good, really good RAM. I've never gotten my RAM above, I'd say, 70% usage, which is crazy. And it's only, anything I've ever done is only used up to 16 gigs of RAM. 16 gigs is not exactly, well, it should not be used on VR platforms. If you're using it like how I'm using it with high performance VR, low performance, go nuts, man. But, oh, what else? Where did I leave off? I had a Corsair RM7500E, really good power supply. I think there actually might be cheaper alternatives. I did do a little extra power. This computer doesn't need as much as it's getting. Dear God, 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda and a Silicon 2 terabyte SSD. Yeah. A pretty mid build in my opinion, but if you think you know, you might have a better build, comment your specs down below. I want to see what you know, what people are packing when they watch my videos. What's your spec sheet, buddy? I'm hopefully gonna get that Ryzen 9 5900X or not Ryzen 9 500. I don't, at some point, you know. Oh, my throat is dying. And maybe later this year or so, I'll build a new PC. And if it comes to it, if I can build a new computer, I might switch out that 3080 for the 3070. Oh no, I'll give the 3070 computer away. And then I'll take this one. And then I'll put it as the Steambox computer. And then I'll build a new one. See if someone might want a nice computer, because that 3070 and all this is still really powerful in this day of age. All right, before I end up wasting too much time, I've got to go get this video edited. Thank you for watching this video. Please go check out Salem Techsperts. Go check out Linus Tech Tips. Those dudes are legends, literal legends. And they, if you're ever looking to build a computer, they've got the info you're going to need to help build your computer. So, honestly, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching and listening to my uh, pretty shortish tale on my love for computers. And yeah, have a great night. And I'll see you guys again at my little cozy cove.